Good morning. I'm Reverend Rebecca Allen, and I'm so grateful for the technology that brings us all here together and for the wonderful staff that makes that all possible. And I'm so grateful for you being here to share the whole concept that we teach in religious science, the philosophy that we teach. So I don't know if my experience is unique, but I remember when I first discovered these principles, I was just floored by them, and I was so excited. And I was probably a little obnoxious about sharing and saying to people, oh, I know these truths. And so what are those principles that we teach? I actually acknowledge only two. And those two are so powerful for the world, especially now. So when I first started teaching, learning about religious science, it came down, as far as I was concerned, to two principles. There is only one thing, that godness, that creative energy, that source, that wisdom, that is the thing itself. There's only that everywhere. Me, the plants, the stars, the trash, the whatever else nasty you can think of, it's all the same thing. And the other principle that is unified with it is that our words, our thoughts are creative. So tending the flame is the topic. And it is a matter of being stewards of those principles, those of us that know that there is only one and that our thoughts and ideas and words are creative. Boy, you know, it's really gotten hard to remember that. It's all of the stuff that is happening in the world that we think is reality. It's hard to remember the truth, but it's our job as stewards of that wisdom to maintain that knowing that there's only one, there's no separation, and that our words have power. I had this quote from Nietzsche that I wanted to share, and it is, "The flame is not as bright to itself as it is to the illuminated, as is the sage." So we are always the sage, and we do not realize how bright and powerful our thoughts, our minds, and our deeds are. It's a reciprocal universe. We're it, and we are touched and blessed by it. This morning, when I awakened, I awakened before dark, which was not my favorite thing, but at the dawn, I heard a bird, and I thought, now there is an example of the light. That bird, you know, it was 21 degrees outside. How courageous, how brave, how touching for it to be singing in the dark of the day, in the cold, and yet it sang. So I think that's important for all of us to know, that even in the darkest, it is our obligation, our work, and our responsibility to be the light, to illuminate. Even when we don't know it, when we're unaware of it, I would suspect that each of us have had examples of that, just that one word, that one sentence of encouragement, that one verification of goodness that's stuck in our mind. We filled our sack with it. We can bring it up, and it makes a difference. We receive those, and we also give those. And because we are the tenders of the flame, it is up to us to remember the truth, that no matter what it appears on the outside, God is within us, and God is everywhere present. So reminding myself, calling myself back to that first excitement of knowing that there is only one, and it pays attention to my word and creates it. That gives us power. That gives us control. That sets us at choice for living our lives fully and richly and being the sage for others. Rumi said, "See your life on fire and seek those who fan the flame." See your life on fire and seek those who fan the flame. We're all just fanning away right here, right now. Absolutely. And that's the joy and the glory of this community, this knowing, this teaching, is that we're all just walking around fanning the flame. It's powerful stuff. It's our responsibility to be the stewards of the light, to know that we are it, the godness, and to share that knowing with everyone else. So surrounding ourselves with those that fan the flame, listening, as Clarissa said, to our spiritual leader, Edward Villun, surrounding ourselves with the knowing that God is all there is. And it's good. It's good. There's another quote I want to share that really delights me, and it's by Rob Thomas. Now, I have no idea who Rob Thomas is. And he said, in this context, I don't know what context, but this quote really says it to me. He says, "Bursting into flames would certainly blow my cover. Bursting into flames would certainly blow my cover. Let's just all walk around in flame." I used to work with this woman at the recovery center. And, you know, it was pretty serious stuff. People were remanded by the courts to be in recovery, and it was a lockdown facility, and people were serious. But I worked with this woman. She was an old hippie. And I can say that because she and I were about the same age. She was against the man. She fought the man. And I really loved the clients as we did. and stood up for them. So one day I was looking out the window, and this woman was on the sidewalk, and she suddenly started doing cartwheels. She was blowing her cover. It was just wonderful. Sadly, she got reprimanded and brought up to the disciplinary board, because having joy is not okay sometimes. We're called to have this level of joy, but not this level of joy. And we got to keep the mediocrity stable. So I encourage you to blow your cover and burst out of flames. There was another time I was at a convention, and you know how people stand around and wait in the hotel to get into the room before the meeting starts? There were a bunch of old stodgy people standing around. And down the hall, this little 3-year-old girl, pudgy legs, curly hair, she started doing somersaults to the crowd. Everybody stopped and watched this little girl. It was like mesmerizing. Her life was on fire. She'd blown her cover. She got to the door of the meeting room and she gave it this. Ta-da! It was just joyful. So I encourage you to live your ta-da. I encourage you to spread your fire and your flame and your gorgeous self, your glorious, divine soul, because you are the keeper of the flame. I am the keeper of the flame. It's our obligation and our responsibility to share that flame, to share the knowing, and to hold the truth when things look a little icky out there. We can focus on that, and that's what we create. There is that grander, universal mind, the collective consciousness. And we stand at stewardship to put the joy back into the collective conscience, to put the peace back into the collective consciousness, to put the love back into the collective consciousness. We are all tenders of the flame. We all are obligated as stewards of the knowing to put the collective, to put the fire and the love and the harmony back into the collective consciousness, to tend the flame of the wisdom of the divine. I want to share this one quote with you of Ernest Holmes. I got to catch my breath. May our minds be so open to the infinite abundance of love and beauty, compassion, goodness, simplicity, sincerity, that it flows around the world, bringing back, as it must, the joy that is God. I'm going to read that again. May our minds be so open to the infinite abundance of love, beauty, compassion, goodness, simplicity, sincerity, that it flows around the world and brings back, as it must, the joy of the love of God. So, we are tenders of a flame. We are the knowers of the truth. It is our obligation to know that there is only one God, one essence that is everywhere present. And that oneness pays attention to what we say, what we do, our words and our thoughts. And we get to choose. Do we put into words the feeling of sadness, the feeling of despair, the feeling of hopelessness? Oh, what the? Or we get to put into that massive creative consciousness the joy, the laughter, the humor, the compassion, the love, the giving, all that is fine, all that is loving. We get to put that in. We are the tenders of the flame. So I invite you to join with me as we anchor all of this in prayer. Join with me as I just acknowledge that before the beginning of the beginning of the beginning, there was an idea and a thought and a creative energy that commenced it all. And that creative energy lives and moves and has its being as me. It lives and moves and has its being as you. It cannot be otherwise. We are it. We are the tenders of the knowing. We are the love. We are the truth, the glory, the essence of that is the divine. And so I invite you to celebrate yourself with me. Celebrate your gift of essence, your very being that is your godness. Celebrate that with me. Blow your cover. Be living in your ta-da. Be the tinder of the flame. Set yourself on fire with glory, and then surround yourself with people who tend the flame. Sincerely, sincerely, I love you all. Joy to you. Namaste.
I wanted to just give you an update on Junior, my kitty cat. I was having a conversation with him about our sleeping in late. I mean, very late. He lays on my bed, and I think I kind of have to stay with him there. It's really quite enjoyable, but we've been sleeping very late. So I had a conversation with him about maybe getting up a little earlier. And he just looks at me with those big blue eyes, and we fall asleep. So yesterday morning, he woke me up about 4:30 in the morning, and I couldn't go back to sleep. And I couldn't really blame him because I think he heard me and understood our conversation. So lazily, I got up and made some coffee and lit a couple of candles. And it's very interesting that time of morning where it feels like everyone is asleep and you're all alone. And I looked out my back window. I live up on the foothills of the city, and there's two homes directly behind me, and their lights were on. And I didn't feel alone anymore. It was such a wonderful feeling knowing that there was someone there with me. And I think about that, about how we ourselves hold the light, and yet we don't know that. We don't always realize that we are the flame, that we are the inspiration or the encouragement to others just by being who we are in this community. And it brings me great joy to share prayer with you as we close our service today. If you'll join me. We are grateful for this sacred space that we share together, that we know is ours, available to us in every breath. And we know that we hold space, sacred space, as we walk our path in life. We hold this sacred space for others, and we encourage life together, knowing that we are one. We give great gratitude for the breath that we take, the life that we live, for all of our pets, for our friends, our families. And we place in prayer in this very moment those people who are ill or not well, or those that we have lost. If we could take just a moment of silence for those that we have lost. And let us know that we are all one, that we are never apart from one another as we journey into the next dimension. In gratitude, we pray. We offer these words into the universe, into the creative field, into the law, knowing that as we speak them, they continue to manifest. And so it is. We so appreciate you being here with us today. It means the world to us. If you'll help me close our service today with our affirmation, that would be lovely. There is a flame that burns eternal at the center of my being. It keeps me warm and it lights my way. Thank you for being here with us today. Namaste.
And so now, let's take a few moments to practice meditation together. So make yourself as comfortable as you can. And allow your eyes to gently close, or find a soft gaze. Allow yourself, just for this moment, to let go. To let go of any tension in your body. Let go of any worries or concerns in your mind. Give yourself the gift of being fully present in this moment. Begin to bring your awareness to the breath, to the natural rhythm of your breath. Pay attention to the movement of the breath. Follow it. Follow the breath as it moves into your body. And follow the breath as it flows out of your body. Allow this awareness to deepen. Of course, the mind will wander. That is what minds do. When you notice the wandering, gently but firmly bring your awareness back to the breath. As thoughts arise, just allow them to drift by like clouds in the sky, returning again and again to the breath. I invite you now to focus your attention on the 6th chakra, the chakra known as Ajna, your third eye. This energy center is located right in the middle of your forehead, above the eyebrows. The color associated with this energy center is deep indigo purple. And notice, imagine right there at the 6th chakra, a flame, a bright, beautiful flame. Focus your attention on this flame and notice it growing bigger and brighter. Feel the warmth of the flame. Bask in the bright light of this flame. That flame is the light of the divine. It is the light of love. It is your light. And that light expands and connects you to all the other lights. It expands all the way to the farthest reaches of the galaxy. And it is a light, a flame that can never be extinguished. It is the essence of life itself, and it burns eternal. Allow your mind to become completely saturated in this fire of the divine, in this beautiful light of love. Know that here, next to this fire, all that is untrue just burns away, and what remains is the truth of goodness, of peace, of beauty, of harmony, of joy. All negativity is transmuted into truth. Know that you can connect to this flame anytime, and that when you do, you can consciously shine that light. Shine it so brightly that it becomes a healing force for anyone that you meet. Anyone you come in contact with is blessed by the light of the divine when you are in that awareness of the truth of who you are, of that radiant love. When you know that exists within you, you shine it like a mirror for others to see and feel the light within themselves. Take a deep breath. Smile. Give thanks for the radiant warmth of divine light. Know that you can return to this meditation anytime you like.